Photoshop process with retouching. I already brought in the image, and then it was just a solid one layer. It says background. You double click on it, and then turn it into a layer. I'll run through that portion. So you just grab you'll go to open, you find it. For me, it was in my downloads, and then it was just a new file. So you just go to open, and then it pops it up here. It brings it up in the background. You can double click on it, and then you just hit OK. But you see it's locked. It stays locked like that until you do this portion. So you just hit OK. See, it turns into a layer. I use the key command Control J to make a new layer, and to make a duplicate layer of that same layer, and then you turn the original off, and then you'll just start in this new layer. I go up to image, and then go to contrast first, and then I do color. Then I do tone. Color and then tone. Color and then tone. And then you'll start on the next portion of it. So once you do that, and then you can go back and forth to see what you've done already. Sometimes at that point you may, because as soon as we did it, it did a lot of blue. If you want to counterbalance those things, you need to go to color balance and then weigh those out. Mids usually start with, and then you can work with your shadows, and then you work with your highlights. But I'm not going to go that far because it was pretty okay. All it really did was just bring in more hues of blue, which won't necessarily stay throughout the rest of the process. Next thing we'll do is go to exposure, and then I work with the gamma. I usually turn the gamma down a little bit, and then I'll boost the exposure just slightly. You want to make the whites more white. So as soon as they get to a good, which won't be much because it was dull, you want to bring its vibrance up, and you see how it kind of like goes pure. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And then you'll do a little bit of offset, but I go in the opposite way because you want it to pop. So I bring it down a little, and then you see it has that pop. All right, so that's our original, just fresh out of the camera. This is a little more color balanced. So now we're gonna go to the next set. That'll be curves for us. I like to do this. Sometimes I like to go low in the front, but technically, you don't want that second one here. You want the second one in the back there. But so I'm gonna boost it up a little bit, and then we'll see. I'll bring the second one up here. All right. There's our band. I think I could have done that a little better. Let's try one more time. So this is your history palette. It goes through all of your past actions. It usually stays on the most current down here. We just did the curves. I didn't really like how it comes out, so I'll just go back one, and then we'll try it again. And then there are settings, preset settings that you can usually go through. Some of the ones that I like is linear contrast, and then you can see what it looks like, and then you can adjust it from there. But linear contrast, that's where it's at. you saw how it immediately did what I wanted, but mine was like way overexposed. But you know, you want to get your own process down. Maybe this is a good start, and then you can play around with it even more. See, cause yeah, you saw. I mean, I liked what it did. Like there was just this strangeness, and then for this being marker, it like immediately I started to see more layers whenever I did it this way. But that's what we're looking for. A little unknown things. You know, we're just searching. So that's good there. It is a peaked high contrast for me, so right now, but the next portions of it will be kind of evening it out a little more. But so I am not going to do levels with this type of art because it is very vibrant. So I don't. Some of these things you just do. I do a lot of night photography, so I have a way of bringing really dark things to be just more colorful. But this doesn't need that. It's very vibrant. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go right to brightness and contrast. Actually, what I do with the brightness is dwindle it a little bit, and then for the contrast, I bring it up to right around here. But you can see, you'll see it start to move around and shift. You don't want it to be too dark. You want it to be right about, no, 30 is always a little too much. I think 27 is always like right around the max. But no, you really want to keep it like right in that area. 11 to 15 maybe, but that's good. I like it. Cool. So that's the color adjustment that I do in Photoshop. And then, you know, you just make sure that you save that as a PSD. And then you're going to save it as an image also. Yeah, so just save it as a PSD. Oh yeah, there's some more we got to do here. So the image plane itself, it looks like it's on a flat surface and then it's like that. So I want to actually align it just a little more straight up and down. And then I'm gonna skew it, and then I'm gonna try to make sure that we align it more vertically, and then it's actually gonna flip more toward us. So watch, I'll show you. So you'll go to edit, transform, and then you go to skew. And then the bottom is what needs to fold out and come to us. So watch. You have to kind of like unhinge it. Yeah, you saw how I did that? It flipped back and then forward. So there are like perspective planes. So you really gotta, you saw how it goes that way or it wants to go this way. You just gotta mess with it a little bit. So once I popped it out, yeah, it starts to look better immediately. And then, yeah, even that lower, bringing it down toward me. So you gotta walk it into these planes. And then you can shift things or whatever. But there was also a little bit on the top there, watch. And then we just want to see what we can do. It still has that weird pitch at the bottom, but we'll see. And then also the darkness is what's causing some of that. Ooh, I like that. Alright. And then what I'll do is so you really want to leave it like that on its own layer. So you saw how that happened? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what we gotta do. I might have to crop it. I want to keep as much of it in as possible, but I was thinking about it. I didn't really want to recreate those little sides, though, because sometimes those things can look a little forced in an image. Yeah. I miss it still. Oh, okay. No, these portions down there we'll draw in. So you can use the Alt button to zoom in and out, and then the space bar to grab this face, to grab your palette, and to shift it around and stuff. I don't know why it's doing it. Why it's not doing it now, but yeah, it's what you do. Alright, so we'll get to cleaning up the brightness, darkness. We'll add some brightness. Use a soft brush, and then it's got to be pretty large. It was doing that because I wasn't selected on a layer, but right click on your mouse, bring your brush palette up. You play with the size for this amount of area and stuff. It's going to be bigger for. It's going to be better for bigger. I'm going to remove the signature and such, but I have it already another way. We've made it digitally. You don't really want to work right on the same layers, just in case. Just in case. So pop yourself a new layer, and then we'll get started. Usually you want to grab a, so while you have the brush on, you can use the control, no, what is it? Alt. And then you're just going to grab like a white that's here instead of pure white. And then you saw how I was talking about adding the pixels there. So there you go. And then with it soft, and then with, so you have the flow down. With it, and I think that comes with it setting with us saying soft around. Oh, the hardness is down. Yeah, that's what they mean by soft. And then the hard will be hardness all the way. But I have also tweaked the flow up here on the brush setting. So, anyways, let's get to that. So we don't want to get in too close, and then it does spread outside of the brush. So you see the where the brush is. It does about 10% outside of that, or a little more too. So you see? Because I'm here, and then it's still doing that little fog ahead. But so you want to stay kind of back far, and then you're going to do as much as you can before switching brush sizes and going in closer. That last stroke was a little high, huh? Try to do, what you can, and then release the brush. That way it gives you more history, and then you can go back a stroke or two without losing a whole section. And then once we get this area tight, we're gonna move in closer. And it doesn't have to be a precise science to some of that methodology. How I just went down in size so drastically. Because we're just getting the job done. It doesn't matter. There's going to be a variety of tools that do it. So if you're someone that's trying to pick up on why I did that, some reasons you're just going to use whatever you can to get it done. And it doesn't have to be 100. It has to be really, really good though. Because what we're going to do in the next process is tighten it up in Illustrator. There's ways of proofing these colors back, but I like to leave it a little more natural. Because it was on paper. So this is meant to be a little more raw. So we're just going to do the best that we can. And when you get smaller, the brushes are not. They're a lot more narrow and tight, so it begins to function in a way that you kind of weren't using the brush for, because you want it to be kind of large and soft. But you've got to switch it up in these smaller areas. You can see it pixel by pixel, so you gotta get good at that. You're like, hey, this pixel's off. Yeah. All right. Yeah, yeah. Did that work? Yep, yep. Ooh. All right. Word. That's tight. What we can do, let's see. Let's see. Uh, and then get it down to where that black is pretty tight. Like that. Watch. Mm, one more time. So 47, too much, and then what? 113 was yeah. Anyways, so let's do the do the inverse. So once you have your selection, we selected it by white. I actually want to pump more blacks into that at the bottom. So what we did is I selected the whites, I isolated the whites, and then we're gonna inverse it. Pacha. And then now you go back to your brush. And at this point, so you see that they're there, you can grow those pixels still. Select, and then you're gonna go to modify or just grow here. Too much. What was it? I know there's. So go to expand, and then just by 1 pixel. You saw how it grew? Wow. Yeah, cool. So let's just jump back into our whites. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Oh, wrong layer. I should so what should happen now is that, well, those are safe to blend together. Like I want those together. At this point in the image, we've already saved it, so you want to make sure you keep saving. But yeah, merge those, and then that's gonna be your thing. And then well, look, so you can see what we've done and see the ideology there. Does look like that should have been, but it's all good. We can try to do something about that now, maybe. Let's see. The eyes are pretty close, so I'm limited. But if I did, that's what I would be sacrificing. Which is too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Yeah. Fine. Just leave it as is there. But yeah, let's prove those flex. Which I lost. Yeah, in order to do that. I'll merge those later. I'm gonna do the blacks. Oh, we got it. And then we'll merge them here in just a moment. But yeah, I just want to bring some life back into the blacks. Word. So you just hit deselect, and we'll merge all three of those. And we're good. Go ahead and save it. Art is meant to be subjective. So straight, not straight. What was correct to me was the eyes. And we're looking into the eyes. So it's not necessarily about the top or the bottom being straight, but we're looking straight into the eyes. So that works. And It is saved already, and then we'll just go to export. Export as a quick PNG. That will be fine that way. That is. And then let's pull up Illustrator. Rotate view, huh? Nice. Alright, so we're just gonna go to open a file. No, I'm just gonna open that file. Go to documents. We'll go to the Jordan 5th. PNG that we exported. We're gonna go ahead and hit open. It's gonna pop it up for us. So just hit Alt and then scroll out. Make sure that your image is selected. We're just gonna go ahead and like to see a few different versions of it in a variety of ways. So I'll do just auto color first. The auto color is usually pretty cool. I usually jump in and go right into my own thing. Which with this sort of project, I would go like 16 colors preset and then start from there and then dwindle it down. I actually like to see like 3 colors. It did okay. I mean, I don't really like just a pure this is it converted vector look. I mean, and that's kind of what it does sometimes. Looks like we maybe missed some in the whites. We'll see. But yeah, so you can do less colors, like, and then we'll play around with the paths, corners, and noise too. So once I get it to a render state that I like, I'll make a render of it. I liked what it did there. It did like it made it a little more cartoony, but I don't really like it. Let's see. It's gotta jump out at me for me to be satisfied. It's all a waiting game because of the rendering process, but it's all good. 5. That one actually didn't look so bad. Oh, I like that. I mean, you don't have to be like 100% sold on any of them, actually. I'd just throw out renders then at that point, and then we'll just, run through all of them. Yeah, I always leave it at the high DPI, PPI, sorry. I think DPI is Photoshop, but anyways. Yeah. And then I did like that last one. Let me see if I can get that one again. The eyes and the lips. Yeah. Something about it. 2. And then you could check on them. See, they're here now. Wow. Yeah. What would do? Export. Okay. I don't know what it's doing, but let's move on then. Did it not? Yeah. Yeah. Word. Oh, what the hell? Cool. So let's see. There's still this like muteness to the colors that I want to get away from, but we'll see how I'll do that soon. We're still in that like auto color stint, like path. So yeah, let's get away from that then. What I'm gonna do. See, I mean, you could always go to high fidelity, but it's gonna kind of start in the where we were originally. But and then that's where I ended up is in this 3 to 6 color range, kind of, and I like that area a lot. Well, let's see. Eh, let's see. I wish you could do a couple of those settings like at once, instead of having to move them and then wait. But it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it looks more like the original that way. Which is fine. Let's just. We do want to give it like a not paper affected feel. And it starts to go that way when it starts to look a little watercolory, just like it just did. I like that. Yeah. Not as an Illustrator file. I always could because that's where the file would start off. But yeah, you just do it as an export. And then where were we in the naming convention? This will be our fourth. Even though, well, there, because the fourth is just the Photoshop original, but you know, it's what it is. So that's pretty okay. Let's see if there's maybe one more we can do. Get it to do something cool we haven't seen before, maybe. Oh, yeah, yeah. Not cool enough. And that's nowhere's land. I think we got the four. It's all good. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you next time.